committee meeting to order. Could we get a roll call, please?
Chair Burning,
Present.
Vice Chair Counter,
Present.
Supervisor Shirley,
Present.
Supervisor Long,
Present.
Supervisor Fiedler.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. With that, looking for any changes or additions to the minutes. Are there any changes or additions to the minutes? Any changes or additions to the minutes? Seeing none, we'll consider the minutes approved. Public comment. Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll close that portion of the agenda, move on to our business items. Business item number 1 is the financial report. We'll call on Dustin.
Thank you, Chair Burning. Financial reports is through March, so we're a quarter of the way through the year. So for that far right percentage remaining column, we're kind of looking to see if we're about 75% left of the year. For the most part, we are, so we're kind of tracking on the budget. You'll notice at the very bottom, our administrative expenses are at 57.1, which is well below 75, but that's due to our bond payments, our debt service fund. Those payments were made in March, and the library payments are already made for the year. So we're at 100% almost for those two, so that's what brings us down there. And then last month, Supervisor Counter had asked about the unallocated and the default accounts. So if Ken goes to page 2 here, I just kind of want to maybe touch a little more on the default account, what that makes up. It's sort of a catch-all where if we don't have revenue that's tied to a specific department, it gets coded to this default department. You'll notice things like the sales tax, our share of the county sales tax is in here. We have some state shared revenues that are in here. Our rent revenue, which is the state courts, and then the interest revenue, which is our operating account revenue that we earn, our short-term investment account operating, or short-term investment income, and then also our long-term income. So that's kind of what makes up this default account. And you'll see at the top, we have a negative amount for the general property taxes, so it just reduces that and offsets each other. Then at the very bottom, if we go to the admin report, just wanted to highlight the sales tax. So you'd see it posted for January. We were just slightly over where we were last year. We're kind of in line with where we seem to start slow every year. Everybody's sticking those New Year's resolutions, eating less, exercising more, spending less. So hopefully around this time of year, it seems we kind of pick up, forget those New Year's resolutions. So in a couple months we meet, hopefully we see that March number about 1 million or more. So hopefully it's turning in the right direction again. Any questions?
Are there any questions regarding the financial report? Any comments or questions? Supervisor Counter?
So looking at that with the sales tax, I know that we don't have crystal balls here or anything, but do you see that do you see as a future that we're kind of flattening out now in that area and we're not going to see the large increases that we've historically had over the years?
Yeah, it's tough to say. I'm not sure. We don't really see the numbers until after it's already, we're a couple months behind, as you can see. So, we got the January payments on March 31st, and we don't really see the spending, the tracking at all. So I'm not sure if we can get a state forecast at all. I don't know.
Yeah, the state will come out with a forecast late in the summer. But 24 compared to 23 was down slightly. So, we had been seeing it go up, and then flatten right out. So, 25 too early to tell, like Dustin was saying, but yeah, the 1-year trend there is not a good sign.
Are there any other comments or yes, Supervisor Long?
I know the agenda item is specific to financial report. Is it appropriate that I ask the county administrator a couple of general questions?
I would refer to our corporation counsel.
Are they financially related questions?
Yes.
Then I would say yes, you can ask them.
Yes, financially, can you give us an update on the progress of the health clinic and then also the remodel, if you would, please?
If you want, you could have Taylor come up. He'd be better suited for that, and he loves getting in front of an audience and microphone to talk about it. I was just telling Dustin I was going to have him start doing the financial reports, building the staff skill levels and different things and giving them a chance to talk. And we had talked and said, we really got to find something for Taylor. So this is a good one.
Yeah, you did a good one. The clinic's on time and on budget. Should be ready to go May 5th. It's all painted out, carpets in. And then as for the rest of the project, once again, we're on time. First floor will be moving May 16th. It's a Friday. So courts come down, and then we'll start remodeling second floor. So that's what I got. Any other questions?
Financially related?
Well, on what he just was talking
Okay.
about. With that, do you have, when you say May 5th, you're including all the furnishings and everything, and that will
Correct.
be set to
They'll
open
be-
a shop?
Yep, they'll be ready to open.
So the on-site clinic will be opening probably the 1st of June. So we take occupancy on May 5th. They have to move in their medical equipment and stuff like that. So it'll be a couple week transition. So they'll open probably about the 1st of June.
Okay, any other comments or questions on the financial report? Supervisor Shirley.
As long as Taylor's walking back to his seat, I was going to ask him. The first floor remodel, do we have any, since we're talking finances, financial surprises there, that change orders and stuff?
Contingency is at $350,000 roughly. That changes. So, no, there was no surprises, and we don't look to see any really future surprises on second floor. Should be getting easier. So, yeah.
Are there any other questions or comments on the financial report? Any other questions, comments on financial report? Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you very much. I will move on to number 2, consideration of reclassification request to combine FTEs for land use, conservation technicians, and planners. Abby, we're calling on you. We're putting you in the spotlight.
Right. Good afternoon. I'm Abby Lindstead. I'm one of the HR advisors in the HR department. This request is being made to address ongoing recruitment challenges for the Land Use Planner 1 position. Despite multiple efforts, the department has been unable to fill this role due to the specialized certifications required. To increase flexibility and attract a broader range of qualified candidates, we're proposing to pool the existing 8 FTEs across 3 classifications: the Land Use and Conservation Tech 1 and 2, the Land Use Planner 1 and 2, and the Conservation Planner 1 and 2. Within this pooled structure, a maximum of 5 FTEs can be designated as planner positions at any time. This change won't increase the overall numbers of FTEs or impact the department's budget in any way. It simply gives us the ability to hire at different levels based on qualifications, while also preserving clear career advancement opportunities from technician to planner roles. This approach supports recruitment, retention, and long-term workforce development.
All right. Looking for a motion to bring this forward.
I'll move to approve.
Okay, you got a motion to approve the consideration of reclassification request to combine FTEs for land use and conservation technicians and planners. Is there a second on that motion? Is there a second on that motion? Second by Shirley. Discussion. Is there any discussion? Supervisor Long?
Just real quick, basically, this provides a lot more flexibility without having any impact on the budget, which can't be anything but good.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, what we can do then is we can hire techs. So if we can't find a planner, you can hire a tech, and they can develop the skill sets to eventually grow into that planner position. And so that would be the idea then, is that you hire them with less experience and then educate them and grow them into that position.
Supervisor Counter?
So you're not taking away any positions? There, so we still maintain the same amount, it's just reclassifications is what's happening?
Correct. We're pooling existing FTE so that we can hire within all pool categories.
Okay, and then with the personnel that we have, we'll be able to provide the necessary training and the things to get them so that they can be productive in the field. Because one of the things is that we've been striving for is to ensure that we provide timely services to the people that are requesting. So that sounds like we'll be able to maintain.
Yeah, Jason's the one that came to us with this idea and recommended it, and we endorsed it. We thought it was a good concept that fit well with his department.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion is approved unanimously. Number 3, consideration of reclassification request for public health strategist position. Abby, welcome to Spotlight number 2.
Thank you. We are requesting the creation of a new position in the Public Health Department, the Public Health Strategist. The role combines 2 previously distinct positions, the Public Health Educator, which lost grant funding, and the Epidemiologist. The goal is to maintain essential public health functions by merging these 2 roles into one, allowing the department to continue meeting community needs. The new position will cover responsibilities such as disease surveillance, data analysis and communication, health education, and policy development. After evaluating the scope of this combined role, HR recommends placing it at grade 24. This placement reflects the expanded duties while remaining fiscally responsible and aligned with market data. Importantly, this reclassification results in cost savings compared to the existing epidemiologist role and supports the department in delivering critical services within existing budget constraints.
Thank you, Abby. Is there a motion to bring this forward? Is it motion? Yeah, go ahead.
If I can read it now. I'd move for the consideration of reclassification request for public health strategist position.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Second by Long. And we are in discussion. Is there any discussion? Yep, Supervisor Long.
So we're merging 2 positions into one. Would we be stretching someone too many responsibilities, trying to cover too many bases? Or would we not be able to focus on certain areas that we would have been had we had 2 people, if that makes sense?
It does make sense, and we do have our HHS administrator here who might be able to speak to it better. However, it's intended to integrate the responsibilities. So I will turn it over to Bob.
Good evening. It's a good question, and obviously it would be better to have 2 separate positions, but looking at the public health field and how it's evolving right now, I think the trend is to look at more generalist kinds of positions with these kinds of skills. So more and more colleges are now offering bachelor level public health degrees, and this position that we're proposing would allow somebody with those basic skills of epidemiology, biostatistics, health education backgrounds to apply for this at a bachelor level or a master's level. The starting wage would be a little higher for a master's level. But the idea here is to combine the 2 positions in a really, I think, an efficient way under the leadership of Ellie Clausen, who's an epidemiologist, and can guide the direction that this position or where this position focuses most of its attention. I think it would be a nice fit, and I think it's like I said, an evolvement of the epidemiology position to cover a broader scope of duties. Does that help? Okay.
Any further discussion? Okay, no, Bob, I said don't move. I got a couple of questions for you. So in looking at this, we're reclassifying which position?
Really, it's the epidemiology position that's been vacant since Ellie took the health officer role.
And what, how long has that been? 8 months, 9 months?
About a year.
About a year, yeah. The older I get, right? 25 years ago seems like 10. Anyway, so what are we getting if we reclassify this? I mean, it's in the budget currently, correct?
Yeah.
And it's been vacant for about a year.
Yes.
So what have we been missing for a year that we'll get now? Like if we just didn't do this, what would that mean?
Well, the challenge is with Ellie being a health officer, her duties have really been focused on a variety of different areas of public health. So it's taken her ability to focus on epidemiology away from that, from the public health department. So what we've been missing in the past year, as we've considered what to do with this vacancy, is that she hasn't been able to focus on things. I'm just giving examples off the top of my head, but like death data from the medical examiner's office around overdose deaths and how we can examine that death data to understand where and how overdose deaths are occurring, what populations, what age group, what circumstances, and things like that. But really, what her efforts were starting to show promise with was looking at disease trends with not just communicable diseases, but things like behavioral health disorders, addiction, mental health disorders, and understanding the progression of those diseases within certain populations. And she was working very closely with our behavioral health division to help them with program design around which populations, which aspects of the disease within populations could be targeted for interventions. The short answer to all of that, I think, is the epidemiology position was helpful in designing intervention strategies for other divisions within the department. Without Ellie being able to do that, really in her new role, our focus shifted to how could we hire somebody to still do that work, but also fill that missing role of health educator to more broadly impact not just the disease investigation part or program design, but to look at how do we educate the public on these kinds of disorders, these kinds of disease trends, so that we can combine the two positions and have it be more effective that way. We've been lacking up till now the ability to do some of this, but it hasn't really impacted our fundamental public health responsibilities.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Oh, nice move, Bob, not moving. Supervisor Shirley.
So am I correct that the current public health educator is a filled position, right?
No, that position's vacant. That was grant funded for a period of time, and when that person left, we didn't fill it.
Okay, so this new position that is being created by this is a position that needs to be filled then?
Yes, this is a permanent position that hadn't been filled.
Okay.
And the starting wage would be slightly lower than what the epidemiology position was originally budgeted for.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of this consideration of reclassification request for public health strategist position signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. I'm going to be a no. And that is passed 4-1. We'll go on to number 4, resolution amending personnel policies, remote work, and IT acceptable use. Abby.
As you may have heard, starting January 1st, 2026, Minnesota's new paid family and medical leave law will take effect. Eligibility for this program will be based on the number of hours worked and income earned in the state of Minnesota over the previous 4 quarters. St. Croix County has opted out of participating in the new Minnesota paid FMLA program, which would otherwise require both employer and employee tax contributions. To comply with this law and avoid triggering participation, employees will now be limited to working no more than 50% of their total hours in the state of Minnesota. The IT acceptable use policy update. We've streamlined our policies by eliminating the cellular and mobile communication device policy and its corresponding acknowledgement form, which was created and managed by the IT department as an administrative policy. To reduce redundancy and avoid extra signature requirements, we've incorporated the relevant content specifically related to the use of cellular and mobile devices into the existing IT acceptable use policy. This update maintains all necessary guidance while simplifying the overall policy structure.
Very well. Thank you very much, Abby. Is there a motion to bring this forward? Yes, go ahead, Supervisor Counter.
make a motion to bring forward the resolution amending personnel policies and remote work and IT acceptable use.
Excellent. That's a motion. Is there a second to that motion? Okay, seconded by Supervisor Long. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Supervisor Long?
So, correct me if I'm wrong, sounds like the Minnesota remote work limitation is a legal issue? Is that correct?
Sorry, I'm first time with the mics. It's a specific legal and financial concern, and this is our response to that concern.
And how many people do we have that work over 50% in Minnesota at this point? Do we know?
We do know. We did a data analysis of our current employee population. Currently, we have less than 30 employees that work in the state of Minnesota. Of those 30 employees, only about 7 would be impacted by this change in 50% rule.
Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Before I call the vote, I just want to say, Abby, thank you for filling in. There are supervisors who still don't know how to hit the button. So nicely done. Yes. All those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. The motion is approved unanimously. Number 5, resolution establishing 2026 budget priorities. Administrator Witt, if you would take this.
Yeah, based upon the input at the Committee of the Whole meeting, we put together these 6 priorities. So the order is employee compensation, and it's listed more generically to allow for either a step increase or a COLA adjustment based upon the total amount of money that we have. So it allows me a little bit of flexibility there to make that determination based upon the total revenues. Second then is health insurance. We did set the target at 2%, so that's what we'll aim for, make any adjustments to the health insurance plan to get us to that percentage. 3 then was circuit court mandated operating expenses, and it says increase funding. And so that's a fairly generic terminology, again, giving me flexibility to allocate some additional money, whether it's $1 or $100,000 is additional funding towards that, really based upon the amount of total revenues we have and where we are able to fill everything in. The same with number 4, out-of-home placement cost. I mean, that would be $800,000 to fully fund it, so it's allocate additional funding for those. At number 5 then, if we have any money left over, really I think the first 4 are probably my best guess of where we'll run out. But if we get to 5, it would be the position request. It leaves it broad to evaluate those positions and make recommendations. The positions that you heard at the Committee of the Whole are probably the majority of the requests that we have, but not necessarily the full list. The department heads have until June 15 to submit their formal request. So there may be more, some of them may be changed. So evaluating those and making a recommendation on any positions based upon the overall scope of the budget. And then 6 is UW extension funding, which Supervisor Ramberg had asked to be added to the list, and I added it last on the list. But that'll be a decision that you have to make because we allocated that $185,000 out of contingency funds to fund UW extension for 2025.
Okay, is there a motion to bring this forward? Motion to bring this forward? Yep, Supervisor?
I'll move to approve the resolution establishing 2026 budget priorities.
Is there a second? Second by Supervisor Fiedler. Is there any discussion regarding this? Supervisor Long?
First of all, I like the way a lot of the wording has been written, allowing some flexibility in the process. And I'm assuming that this will be kind of an iterative process so that you might go through 1, 2, and 3, and then all of a sudden, based on 4 or 5 or whatever, you may need to go back and adjust 1 or 2. So I'm assuming that's part of the process. So it's not carved in stone 1, 2, and 3. So that flexibility, to me, is really critically important in the process.
Correct, yeah. That's how it works every year, but yeah, that's how I planned on it working.
Is there any further discussion? Supervisor Shirley?
I know we talked at nauseum last year about UW extension funding, but what are our, I think I know the answer already, but what are our options as far as the 4-H program and what we need to do for that as part of that?
Yeah, so actually, UW extension funding, and I guess I didn't list it this way, this is only the 185,000 that we took out of contingency. So the 4-H position already is in the tax levy and would be covered and isn't a budget priority consideration. This is just the additional educator positions, not the 4-H position. So 4-H is safe through the budget, pending any removal by the county board.
Any further discussion on this? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor of the resolution establishing the 2026 budget priorities signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. That resolution is unanimous, or passed unanimously. Number 6, resolution extending county administrator contract. I'm going to turn this over to our board chair, Chairman Long.
Thank you. Do we need a motion first, or can I roll right into a discussion?
Might as well do a motion. You can discuss. We can discuss. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
That's the background, so you're good.
Can we see the resolution on the screen? I'd like to start out by first saying I think the most important thing here is the second whereas on line number 5, where we're really talking about the importance of continuity and leadership and positive contributions of the county administrator. I think one of the important things to me that I've seen created in the last 5 years is the culture in this building. And I was here 9 years ago, and it wasn't quite the same. I don't want to say anything at all negative about prior county administrator or prior staff at all. That's not my point. My point is that the culture that has been created under the county administrator has, in my opinion, has been very exceptional, as are his department heads and hires. And I think that's really critical going forward. And the best thing that we can do is to make sure that we can keep Ken around for another 5.5 years. And this contract extension accomplishes that. I understand that it's a little front-loaded financially, and I recognize that and appreciate that. But given the fact that it really only, over the 5-year period, costs the county about $137,000, I think that's quite the bargain for what we're getting. I think it's critical that we move this resolution and contract extension forward. It's all in all of our best interests, not only from a county standpoint, from the citizens. So I would move to approve the resolution extending the county administrator contract.
There's a motion to extend the county administrator's contract. Is there a second? Second by Supervisor Counter. Any discussion on this? Any discussion? Any discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor of the resolution extending the county administrator's contract signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion is approved unanimously. With that, we'll go to business items are concluded. Request for any future agenda items. Any future agenda items? Supervisor Counter?
After reviewing, I think I talked possibly to somebody in the administrative section, but after reviewing the remote work policies, the one thing that I think I talked to you on this one too, but the one thing that I noticed that wasn't addressed was when people are working remotely, they're typically also involved with Zoom calls and other types of responses as they're doing their daily business routine. And one of the thoughts in that is when they are doing this, the consideration of at least the area directly behind the camera and where they're positioned, that it becomes a neutral area, neutral screen, so that we have to expect that sometimes they're talking.
Thank you.
So I would like to bring that up as a future agenda item, make it simple. Thank you.
Supervisor Counter, we'll send you a copy, we'll have Abby send you a copy of our political activity policy. And if you don't think that covers it, we'll bring that policy forward for amendment to cover your issue. So,
Any other future agenda items? Any other future agenda items? Any other future agenda items? Hearing none, we'll put that one on if you deem it necessary. I'll let you communicate with Abby. Any announcements? Any announcements? Any announcements? All right, hearing none, we'll close that. We'll set the date for the next meeting, which will be May 20th, 2025. With that, all business items are covered and we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.